I always believed trust held our marriage together. 7 years with Emily felt like a lifetime of love, passion, and unwavering loyalty, until the cracks began to show. Emily, my beautiful, compassionate wife, worked as an emergency room nurse. Her long shifts often stretched into the night, leaving me alone in our quiet house, waiting. At first, I admired her dedication. But lately something felt off. She started coming home later than usual, her face glowing with a strange excitement. Her explanations were vague. "Emergency at the hospital," she'd say with a quick kiss before disappearing into the shower. Then there was the scent. Not the sterile, antiseptic smell of the hospital, but something else, musky, rich, unfamiliar. A fragrance that clung to her clothes, her hair, her skin. It wasn't hers. It wasn't mine. I ignored it at first, pushing aside my suspicions. After all, she was my wife. She wouldn't lie to me. Would she? One night, as I lay in bed waiting for her, my phone buzzed. A message from Emily. "Stuck at work. Another emergency. Love you." I sighed, placing the phone on the nightstand. But something gnawed at me, a deep, unsettling feeling in my gut. I opened my laptop, pulling up the hospital's website. My fingers hesitated before typing in the staff directory. A list of on-duty personnel appeared. My breath caught in my throat. Her name wasn't there. I stared at the screen, my chest tightening. Maybe it was a mistake? Maybe she had switched shifts? Doubt gnawed at me, growing stronger with each passing second. I needed answers. My mind raced as I scrolled through our shared bank account. Recent transactions appeared, each time-stamped. Restaurants, gas stations, and then a hotel charge. My blood ran cold. She hadn't mentioned a hotel. Why would she need one? My fingers trembled as I clicked on the details. The transaction had been made just 2 hours ago. She wasn't at work. She was somewhere else. With someone else. A bitter taste filled my mouth as I stared at the screen. The weight of betrayal settled over me, suffocating, relentless. I needed proof. Dialing her best friend Clara, I forced my voice to remain steady. "Hey Clara. Just checking, Emily's working late again tonight, right?" A pause. Then Clara's hesitant voice. Yeah. She mentioned an extra shift." Lies. My heart pounded as I hung up. Clara was covering for her. A deep, burning rage ignited in my chest. Emily was cheating. And I was going to catch her. I grabbed my car keys, my hands tightening around the steering wheel as I sped toward the hotel. The neon lights reflected off my windshield, a mocking glow in the darkness. Pulling into the parking lot, I killed the engine, my pulse drumming in my ears. I wasn't ready for this. But I had no choice. Tonight, I would uncover the truth, no matter how painful it was. The hotel loomed before me, its golden-lit windows casting an eerie glow against the night sky. I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. My heart pounded, adrenaline surging through my veins. Emily, my wife, was inside. Not at the hospital, not working an emergency shift. She was here, tangled in lies and infidelity. I took a deep breath, exhaling slowly to calm my racing thoughts. Then, I stepped out, slamming the door behind me with quiet determination. Inside, the lobby buzzed with soft music and idle chatter. Couples sat close, whispering sweet nothings. A young receptionist glanced up from her screen, offering a professional smile. "Good evening, sir. Checking in." I forced a casual expression. "Actually, I'm meeting my wife, Emily Carter. She checked in earlier." The receptionist hesitated, eyes flicking to the computer screen. "Let me see." Her fingers danced across the keyboard. Each second dragged on like an eternity. "Yes, Emily Carter checked in about 2 hours ago." She glanced up. "Would you like me to call the room?" I swallowed the lump in my throat. "No need. I'll surprise her." A polite nod. "Room 206. Down the hall, second floor." I clenched my jaw, muttering thanks before heading toward the elevators. Each step felt heavier than the last. My mind screamed at me to turn back, to avoid the inevitable pain that awaited me. But I needed to see it with my own eyes. The elevator ride was agonizingly slow. As the doors slid open, I stepped into the hallway, my pulse hammering against my ribs. The air smelled of expensive cologne, faint perfume, and the unmistakable scent of betrayal. Room 206. I stood outside the door, hand hovering over the handle. Muffled laughter echoed inside. A deep, male voice. Emily's soft giggle. My stomach twisted into knots. Without thinking, I knocked 3 times, steady, firm. The laughter stopped. Silence stretched. Then, soft footsteps approached the door. It creaked open an inch. Emily stood before me, wearing a satin robe, her hair tousled, her face flushed. Her eyes widened in shock. "Jason." Her voice was barely a whisper. Guilt flickered across her face before she forced a smile, one I no longer recognized. Behind her, lounging shirtless on the bed, was a man. Muscular. Smirking. My world shattered. Emily's lips parted, searching for an excuse, a lie, anything to undo what had just been exposed. I beat her to it. "Caught you," I said, my voice deadly calm. She stepped forward. "Jason, I can explain." I laughed. A hollow, bitter sound. "Explain?" "Sure. Explain why you lied. Why you made me feel like a fool. Why you threw away 7 years of marriage for him." The man on the bed yawned, stretching lazily. "Maybe this isn't the best time, babe." Babe. Rage boiled inside me. My hands curled into fists, but I refused to lose control. I wouldn't let them see me break. Emily reached out, eyes pleading. "Please, Jason, let's talk." I stepped back. "No need. Everything's clear now." Turning on my heel, I walked away, ignoring the sting in my chest, the betrayal carving wounds deeper than I ever thought possible. I had seen enough. But Emily had no idea that this was only the beginning. The drive home was a blur. My hands gripped the wheel, knuckles bone white, but my mind was elsewhere, looping through every moment of my marriage, dissecting the lies I had swallowed without question. Emily had smiled at me this morning, kissed me, told me she loved me, and just hours later, she was in a hotel room with another man. Rage burned in my chest, but beneath it, something colder took root. I wouldn't let her walk away from this unscathed. By the time I pulled into our driveway, a plan had already formed. I moved with purpose, my actions precise, methodical. Inside, the house felt unfamiliar, tainted by her betrayal. Every picture of us, every shared memory, felt like a cruel joke. But I wasn't about to drown in self-pity. I had work to do. First, I grabbed a suitcase from the closet, stuffing it with her clothes, shoes, and every reminder of her existence in this house. She didn't deserve a slow goodbye. Next, I accessed our shared account. I knew Emily well. She was careless with money, trusting me to handle finances. That trust would cost her. With a few clicks, I transferred half of our savings into my private account. She could have her affair. She wouldn't have my financial support. Then, I went for the final touch. Her family group chat. I scrolled through the messages. Chatter about birthdays, weekend plans, casual updates. Perfect. Taking a deep breath, I began typing. "Hey everyone, just a quick update. Emily won't be coming home tonight. She's staying with her boyfriend. Yes, you read that right. Caught her in a hotel room just now. Figured you should all know the truth before she spins her own version." I hit send. One message. One perfectly crafted bomb. I leaned back, exhaling slowly as replies flooded in. Her mother, furious. Her sister, stunned. Her father, a simple, call me. Let her explain this. The last step was simple. I changed the locks. By the time Emily returned home, her key wouldn't work. The hours dragged on. I sat in the living room, waiting. No music. No TV. Just silence and my own steady breathing. Then headlights. The front door handle rattled. A pause. Another attempt. Then pounding. "Jason." Emily's voice cracked. "The door's not opening." I remained seated. "Jason, please. My key isn't working." I checked my watch. 2:47 a.m. She had taken her time. More pounding. Jason, open the door. We need to talk. I smirked, standing slowly. Walking to the entrance, I leaned against the other side of the door. Time for the surprise. I unlocked the deadbolt and pulled the door open just enough to see her face. She was still in her robe, her hair a mess, panic in her eyes. I stepped aside. Her suitcase sat on the porch. Emily's gaze darted from the bag to my face. What is this? I folded my arms. Your new living arrangement. Her lips trembled. Jason, don't do this. We need to talk. I laughed, cold hollow. Talk? Like how you talked at the hotel. Tears welled in her eyes. It was a mistake. I messed up. Please, let me in. I shook my head. You already made your choice, Emily. Now live with it. She stepped forward, but I held firm. You cheated. Lied. Smiled in my face while sneaking around. You don't get to come back from that. She sobbed. Where am I supposed to go? I shrugged. Not my problem. Her phone buzzed in her hand. She glanced down, saw the family group chat exploding with messages. Her face drained of color. You, her voice broke. You told them? I smirked. Damn right I did. Emily staggered back, tears streaming. She had thought she could get away with it. Thought I'd be too weak, too broken. She was wrong. As she stood there, shaking, the reality of her choices crashing down, I did the one thing she never expected. I smiled. Then, without another word, I shut the door in her face. The satisfying click of the door locking behind me sent a surge of finality through my veins. It was over. Outside, Emily stood frozen, her tear-streaked face illuminated by the porch light. She was waiting, hoping, maybe, that I'd change my mind, that I'd undo everything and let her back in. But I was done. I walked back to the living room, sat down, and exhaled. For the first time in hours, I felt at peace. The pounding on the door resumed. Jason, please, she sobbed. Don't do this. Just let me in so we can talk. I ignored her. Her calls came next, one after another, my phone buzzing relentlessly. Finally, I answered, putting it on speaker. Her voice cracked through the silence. You don't have to do this. I was stupid, Jason. I wasn't thinking. Please, let me fix this. I scoffed. Fix it? You didn't accidentally trip and fall into a hotel bed, Emily. You made choices. Repeatedly. She let out a ragged breath. It didn't mean anything. I chuckled, shaking my head. Funny. You looked pretty comfortable wrapped up in his sheets. Silence. Then, a shaky, desperate whisper. I love you. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. No, Emily. You loved the security I gave you. The home I built for us. The stability you never had to worry about. But me? The actual person behind all of that. I exhaled. You didn't love me enough to stay loyal. She sniffled. I messed up. But I can be better. We can be better. I smirked. We? Oh, there is no we anymore. A long pause. Then, rage. So that's it? 7 years, and you just throw it all away? Her voice sharpened, hysteria creeping in. My eyes flicked to the suitcase still outside. No, Emily. You threw it away. I'm just taking out the trash. She let out a choked sob. I'll tell everyone you're cruel, that you didn't even give me a chance. I sighed. Good luck with that, considering your entire family already knows the truth. And guess what? So does my lawyer. A sharp inhale. Lawyer. I stretched back into the couch, feeling lighter than I had in years. Oh yeah. Filed for divorce tonight. Should be a smooth process since I've already moved our joint funds out of your reach. Oh, and the house. I grinned. It's in my name, Emily. Always has been. She gasped. You! I hung up. Then I blocked her number. The aftermath. By morning, Emily was gone. The suitcase had vanished, along with any remaining illusions I had about who she was. I didn't feel broken. I didn't feel empty. I felt free. A week later, the papers were served. According to mutual friends, Emily tried to stay with the guy from the hotel, but apparently, he wasn't looking for a long-term commitment. Poetic justice. Her life unraveled while mine rebuilt itself. The weight I hadn't realized I'd been carrying was finally lifted. And as I stood in front of the mirror, staring at the man who had refused to be broken, I smiled. I won.